Growing up on a reserve, you don't have access to everything that someone growing up off reserve does. We don't have public transportation.
My reality is we always have big jugs of water that go into our water cooler, $130 per load of water, maybe every other week. A basic human right to us seems like a luxury.
Cost is another thing. Sports are not cheap to play. There's so many barriers to being an Indigenous youth. And so breaking down those barriers of where you can play, how you can play it, and who can play it is really big for us. Iroquois Roots Rugby was founded in 2017, so I'm hoping to open up those opportunities for Indigenous youth across the province. I've played rugby for about 10 years now, and it's provided me with a lot of opportunity, friendships, relationships, education.
We started out very humbly, having 3 kids sometimes show up to training. People that come, they want to be here and they want to learn, so even if there was only 1 kid, we would just train them.
In 2019, I think we had 20 plus kids, so we were able to enter into a couple tournaments, play some sevens in the fall.
We've reached thousands of people. We got hundreds of new people following our social, and it's growing so rapidly. We're kind of like just trying to keep up with everything. And it's just Meagan and I, so it's a lot of work. Meagan's been so many places with the sport, so it was amazing for me to watch them flourish in that sport and gain so many new friends and go so many places.
The inclusivity of the sport is something that's also been really huge for me. There's just something for everybody, no matter what your skill set is, your size, your shape, your speed. But the cool thing about rugby is that everybody plays offense and everybody plays defense. Positionally, you have your own role, but within the sport, everybody gets the opportunity to do everything. In rugby, there's no hierarchy that way. When you step into a club, you're one of them and they embrace you as one of their own. And a sense of belonging that the sport brings is something that I've never seen in a sport before. So promoting that to children is just so important to me, because there's always a spot for you, no matter who you are or where you come from.
All of the kids that we train have parents or grandparents or great-grandparents that were affected by the residential school system. My grandmother went to residential school. She was there throughout her whole childhood, adolescence. That's not that far away if you think about it. We actually did a rugby camp on the grounds of the Mohawk Institute. The one girl said, my grandpa went here, and when he knew I was coming here today, he told me not to go by the trees. So they all had stories and they all had frightful feeling just being there. Got all the kids together and I said, we're all grandchildren of people that went to this school, and the school's still standing and they want it to still stand to be a reminder of the things that happened here. So I said, let's think of it differently, and let's think about how the children that were here were not allowed to run and play. And they survived, and we're here because of them. So I think it would make them very happy to know that their grandchildren are allowed to do the things that they weren't allowed to do. And once we thought of it that way, we were able to go out and have a really good day after that. When we go to school, we share the beautiful things about our culture. Talk about the Haudenosaunee people, which is Iroquois people. We tell them how many different nations make up our confederacy, that our confederacy still governs, our songs and dances that we do. And we do different cultural arts programming with them. them. They make moccasins. We make wampum belts, and we talk about the significance of wampum. So we share all the beauty that there is to be Haudenosaunee, and we tend to focus on the beautiful parts of our culture rather than the devastating parts of our culture, because we do want to take that step forward. For me to be reclaiming our culture, have my children and all the children in our program learning about the culture, we're just reclaiming our identities, and that's so important to us, because that's a void. If you know you're Iroquois, you know you're Mohawk, but you don't have certain ties to that culture, you need to know who you are as a person to go out there and feel confident and do what you're doing. When we set out to do it, we thought if one kid picks up this sport and gets an opportunity like my kids had, then we'll have done what we set out to do. It would take just the want to do something for the youth in your community. We don't get paid for what we're doing. We log all these hours daily to do what we do, and it's because we want to do it. We want our youth to discover rugby, love the game, and maybe get an opportunity out of it that they wouldn't otherwise have.